Guys, we're back for another exciting episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play, and tonight's going to be fun because I have to allude to a question that's coming later, but there's an inflatable Tyrannosaurus Rex that comes into the conversation, but we'll get to that. Tonight's show is about BirdieBall, and I have to be completely honest. I've been following this guy on Twitter for a long time, and it's kind of fun because for whatever reason, I feel like I was going to have him on the show in the past, and it never happened. I'm not sure what happened, but he's here tonight. And he's got a cool name. He's got a name I can pronounce, quite frankly, which is pretty cool. So John Breaker is with us from BirdieBall. And, you know, thinking of the name BirdieBall, you have no idea what that might be. But when you look into the product and the number of times this product has been sold and the technology that's behind this and the simplicity behind this product, you just can totally appreciate what he's trying to accomplish. So tonight's episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play, as always, is presented by Eat Sleep Golf. Some big news with Eat Sleep Golf. Hashtag the Oven 17 is coming up in just a few weeks. I am excited. One, I'm excited to go back to Phoenix. It's hot here, but it's really hot there. They were hitting $120 last week. So excited to see how that relates to the humidity that I've been feeling down here in Southwest Florida. But we have another really big announcement coming related to Hashtag the Oven 18, but I'm not going to announce that tonight. I'm going to leave that for next week. So be excited for what's coming, Hashtag the Oven 18. But John, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show to talk about BirdieBall. Welcome to the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play.
Ricky, excited to be here. I follow you religiously, and we do seem to be old souls acquainted through the Twitterverse. And I was looking back through some of our DMs, and we were going to try to hook up at the PGA merchandise show. And I think that's where we were going to try to do this the last time.
Well, I haven't been to the PGA show, and it's funny now that I live 2 hours away from Orlando, 3 hours away from Orlando. I might be able to take her and let her go to Disney World while I go to the PGA show. But I haven't been in the last few years, and maybe next year since, you know, I live here now. That's in season for us down here in Southwest Florida, so I might be a little busy. But we sent our director of golf and our head pro with this year, but hopefully I'll be able to make it, and that's just a fun place to be. We had 2 years ago, we had a guest live on the show from the PGA show, so hopefully that'll happen again soon. But I'm excited to talk about BirdieBall because the concept is quite frankly genius. Now, let's pretend I don't know what it is. What is BirdieBall for those folks watching at home?
Right. So we're a 15-year-old business, and the whole business started with this. And I don't know if we can see that, but this is a golf ball. It looks exactly like a napkin ring, and it is so counterintuitive. You hit it hole up just like this, okay? So as you compress the golf ball, it flies off the club with reverse spin around a horizontal axis, flies exactly like a golf ball. Okay, not a little bit like, but exactly like a golf ball. So draws, fades, hook slices, does everything a golf ball does, but it only goes 40 yards, okay? So 40 yards, that's home plate to second base. And, you know, the best application for this is literally get a buddy, you know, go to an open space softball field, park, anywhere where you can find 40 yards and hit it back and forth to each other. And, you know, we've been around for 15 years because we've sold 7 million of them. And, you know, it's one of these things where, you know, it deserves to be on the planet. And if you haven't seen it yet, or if you've never hit it, you will before you die. But, you know, we still haven't hit the tipping point for this. It's just crazy to us. One of our real fun statistics is that we sold 7 million of them, and we've had 1 returned. And I would put that up against any product, any physical product in the history of the world. That you know, even the wheels, somebody probably brought that back to the cave guy and said, you know, it doesn't roll like this. What's wrong with it? You know, so, you know, but you know, you have to hit it to believe it. And once you hit it, you just can't comprehend it. It draws, fades. You know, it blows off the club face with the same ball speed as a golf ball. And, you know, that got our start in golf. And, you know, we won the best new product at the PGA merchandise show in 2005. You know, and that's sort of the holy grail of golf invention, you know, if you can get that award. And, you know, we were fortunate to get that. And, you know, that's not a license to be successful by any stretch of the imagination. You know, in fact, we thought it probably was, you know, we're going to just, you know, we're home and dry now. But, you know, it's hard work. And, you know, every retailer in the country put our product in on the shelves in 2005. And then in 3 months later, they all called and wanted to send it back. And we were, confused. Well, it turns out that you really can't package this product in a way that convinces anybody that doesn't have a video or the ability to demonstrate it or try it, that that's going to fly exactly like a golf ball. So you have to demonstrate it. And so, that's how they're sold. We sell them to schools, and we sell them to, people that will demonstrate them and show people how they work. The PGA is our partner in the Golf in Schools program. We're partnered with the LPGA, and the LPGA will have BirdieBall events prior to all their tournaments. We'll partner with the Web.com tour, for example, the BMW Charity Pro-Am. We'll spend the week down there, and we'll blow up these inflatables that we'll talk about. We have this mini Topgolf experience. In fact, I'm going to say we invented Topgolf. We didn't. Okay, if Topgolf was listening to this, we didn't really invent it. But but I work with Topgolf now in their junior programs because it's sort of something they hadn't thought about, and they do birdie ball in the parking lot. Okay, so they just turn the whole business around and go hit birdie balls in the parking lot, and we're going to do the same sort of thing. We're up here in Evergreen, Colorado, and we bought this beautiful facility, and you can see behind me, this is our putting green showroom, and we'll talk about putting greens too. But the birdie ball is really my infatuation and my love, and we need to breathe some more life into it. And so we're going to build a 10-bay Topgolf-ish kind of experience here, where it'll be a boutique-y kind of experience. You'll have the nice little fireplace, and hopefully we'll be able to serve a nice Cabernet. More family-focused, and we'll have the giant dinosaur and the giant kangaroos and all those things. But adults, and honestly, the better you are at ball striking, the better you love birdie ball, and that's really a testimonial to the product.
That is awesome. So I have to ask, birdie ball, why not par ball or bogey ball? Where'd the name come from? I mean, birdie ball sounds good, but where'd the name come from?
It does sound good, and we wanted a name that you'd remember, and we wanted it to be related to golf, although we weren't sure it had to be, because even though it does everything golf ball does, when people ask me, well, compare it to a golf ball. Okay, well, it might go a yard. Every club may be a yard in distance, as opposed to 10 yards in distance. But it's really its own thing. And so we wanted something that would be memorable and be associated with golf. And because we really do believe that there's a world in the future where we play birdie ball golf courses, and we have these birdie ball Topgolf-like experiences. And, the name, honestly, I was searching for URLs, and Zoombie was taken, thank God. Okay, so it was there, birdie ball URL, and that was a godsend, and it's a name you can remember. Nobody forgets birdie ball, and particularly when you've seen it now you know what it looks like. Okay, so that's a birdie ball.
No, that's a napkin holder, but it's an awesome.
That is, and I have people that buy them for that. And we do. We customize them, and they'll put them at weddings. And then if they're in the golf business, they'll go outside and hit them. So
that's cool. That's really cool.
15 PGA professionals that have them logoed for their weddings, and then as sort of a let's go christen this marriage. They go out, and it's a seven turf wedge salute. So
that's really cool. So Eat Sleep Golf, the presenting sponsor of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, always sends in good questions. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I'm this close to just not writing my own questions because they send in so many that I don't even need to. They have 13 questions tonight. I guarantee we don't get to them all, but this one's a good one. So what did the design process look like when you were developing the original birdie ball? And how did you decide the shape, the size? I mean, there's obviously some technology that went into planning how to make this behave like a golf ball. So talk a little bit about that.
Right. So my father, God rest his soul, and this is our third Father's Day without him, but my father is an engineer, or was an engineer, and we were watching the 1999 Masters, and they were talking about lengthening the Augusta National for Tiger. And it was sort of this simultaneous thing. We looked at each other and said, that's how special Augusta is. They just snap their fingers and they can make real estate. Well, this is this whole controversy around, the golf ball killing the game. And I don't necessarily believe that. I think that, you let the technology take the game where it's going. But I do think that there are going to be derivatives of the game that do have to minimize the length of the courses and make them family and speed it up and all that sort of thing. But we looked at each other and said, we have to think about how to really limit the flight of a golf ball, and yet make it fun to hit. And so we drilled holes in golf balls. And I'm in the polymer world. My background is polymer sales, okay? Not necessarily engineering, but the sales guy has to know all the engineering stuff. So I had co-opted some engineering buddies that would help me understand the polybutadiene internal core and the speed at which the core would rebound or the hysteresis of the core. And so we drilled holes in golf balls and had this polymer analyzed. Well, as with any invention, there's some accidents involved in it. And I had a bag of golf balls in my garage with a 5/8 inch hole in them. And if you're like me and you look at a bag of golf balls and you look at your wedge sitting there, and who hasn't hit a golf ball in their neighborhood, okay? All right, so fortunately, my neighbors were spaced out pretty well. So I went out in the backyard and said, I wonder what that flies like with a hole in it like that. In the first couple, I wasn't paying attention to where the hole was. And, it would literally take a left-hand turn. It would fly 30 yards and just go left. And then the next one went right. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on there. And I happened to hit one with the hole up. And I was like, God, I just nuked that over my neighbor's house. And instead of going over the house, it fell short of my fence. But it looked like it was going to go over. And I was like, what just happened there? And so, my dad and I went and we bought every book there was on how golf balls fly. And there was one that was written in like 1957. And it described the fact that a golf ball has to have reverse spin to get off the ground. And it has to have, lift, and that's created with dimples. And they realized, that was the air pressure change that needed to get it up. But, golf balls, it's always been, believed that, they have, that potentially they can spin on their side. Well, that's really not true. All golf balls have a reverse spin. That's how they fly. End the story. What makes them go left or right to left is that their axis tilts ever so slightly. So if you leak it, the axis is, if you're right-handed, is tilted left to right. If you're right-handed, the axis is tilted right to left. Now, a lot of that really seems inane now. I mean, we're 15 years later, and we have all of the technology now that watches a golf ball spin. But, none of that technology existed 15 years ago. We were trying to figure out, what's going on here. And so launch monitors hadn't been invented. We were naive enough to not know exactly how a golf ball flew. And then, so once you realize that this golf ball will fly with a hole in it if it's oriented around its axis, then you start trying to determine, how do we make it go as short as we can? And because we decided, because this golf ball with a hole in it will go 250 yards. We can make it go that far. We can even put a titanium spring in it and make it go further. We can make it go further than a golf ball with a hole down the middle of it. And that, so, how do we make it go shorter now? And that's where all of the experimenting comes in. Well, let's make it with a straight wall. That's got to go, lift, stop, lift, stop, lift, stop. And, it turns out that works. And so, this is a straight-sided animal. That's the stopping. This is a chamfered lip. This is the aerodynamics. When it sees that hole, that's the lift, that's the wing. And that's why it has this remarkable hang time. So if you were to time a golf ball that you hit with a wedge and you timed how long it was in the air for 50 yards, the birdie ball's in the air about 40% longer, okay? And that's because, that's why you enjoy that flight so much, because it's actually in front of you longer. And so the feedback is longer. And but they're in their non-aerodynamic shape when you hit them. And that's why they feel heavy in your hands. They weigh about half of what a golf ball weighs. They're slightly bigger because they are less aerodynamic, bigger. And we're candidly trying to keep it in people's backyards. And that's one of the things people will tell you is, they still go a long way. I mean, 50 yards is still a long way.
That's really cool. Like such a simple idea that you've been able to put together into a product that has sold 7 million units. Like, that's awesome. Now, let's go back to that T-Rex that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Who is Birdie Rex? Because that's pretty cool. Like, that's almost like your identity is like this inflatable.
it's the thing that has gotten us, a lot of publicity. And we didn't really. It was one of these ideas where let's get some targeting. We love creative targets. We love everybody coming up with whatever targets they can possibly come up with. The more the merrier. And so we had these inflatable ski ball looking targets, and we've had inflatable spoke looking targets. And, we just said, what if we, had a giant, dinosaur, and, started building that. And I will say I got in trouble with the trademark. We called it Golfzilla. And I aggravated the people who own Godzilla. And so, rather than, have too many public enemies out there, we had to change the name to Birdie Rex. And I'm going to say thank you for allowing us to do that and not spanking me. So he's now Birdie Rex, even though sort of the world got introduced to him as Golfzilla. And we have literally hundreds of him out there. And if I thought we might want to talk about him. So I actually I have a little picture so you can kind of see what Golfzilla is.
That's so cool.
That's Golfzilla. And he's 20 feet tall. And when you bring him out, the kids can't, they just can't stop. But what we really find is the adults can't stop either. And and we'll have contests. We'll give somebody $100 and they can put it in there. And we've actually raised money where we charge $5 for 5 balls. And we'll pay out $500 if you can put it in his mouth, and the charity will take home $2,500. And it's all over his mouth, but never going in. Although, call me, because I do have the statistics on it. If you're a charity and you really want to try to do that, we can make that happen.
It's almost like I need hole-in-one insurance whenever.
It's very simple. In fact, I've had conversations with those people too, where you could do this hole-in-one thing at a shopping mall. I mean, really, you're in the hole-in-one business. How about just bring it to the people? And that's really what we're all about. I mean, we can talk about the number of golfers there are in the universe. We can say it's anywhere from 20 to 28 million golfers. And the one thing that we know for sure is that the number is flat to down. And that's a concern for all of us that are in the golf business, obviously. But, our focus really is on the other 300 million people that don't play golf. Okay, so we take it to them. We go to shopping malls, and we go to garden plots, and we go to baseball games and soccer games, and we'll go to, Mile High Stadium, and and set it up. And oh, I don't play golf. Well, who cares? We've got a thing called the strike pad. This little board, which we hit birdie balls off of it. It has the swing path, and we put the birdie ball in it. It has a little camper. Set that down in a parking lot, and you're playing golf. And if you got the Birdie Rex out there. You got the Birdie Rex out there. It's standing room only. It's standing room only. You can't get them to leave. It's like, okay, we're done, and finally you just have to unplug it and say, okay, that's it.
That's awesome. What a cool, I did not expect for Birdie Rex to have that much history, and the fact that he's got in trouble with copyright law. Now, where is BirdieBall manufactured? I have to assume you're going to say China, but maybe not. Where do you make these?
Yeah, so we do unfortunately make them in the Orient, and the reason is there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. There's a hand operation that we just can't monetize here in the U.S., and so we do make the BirdieBall in China and bring them over. However, I will say that the putting greens behind me, that's 100% American made. Okay, and we think that there's date certain where we'll bring the BirdieBalls back as well.
Awesome. So customization, like I see a couple of colors. I see red, I see blue, I see, green. What kind of customization is available? If I've got an event, for example, #TheEvans17, if I wanted to get like a logo put on the side, or I wanted the Birdie Ball to be a different color, like what kind of customization is available for this?
Right, so we can do a picture. Okay, so 4-color process. We have no limitations. If you have a JPEG or anything, we basically can put that image on the side of the Birdie Ball. We print on 4 inches so we can wrap it around the ball. If you got a second here, let me grab one. This is one of my favorites because this is my daughter. That's my daughter and son-in-law. Okay, and that's their and this is their wedding date. Okay, so we did make napkins for that wedding. So yeah, we can print all the way around it.
That's awesome. So what's the thing cost? We haven't even talked about it. Is it like $7.99 or like $27.99? Like, what's this thing cost?
So a single birdie ball, yeah, they're roughly $2 and change, packaged, with dozens typically. So this is packaged like golf balls. That's a dozen birdie balls.
Ooh,
that's
good idea.
Yeah, so that's So and we can customize it. So you could get, a custom. In fact, I will do this for you. We're going to do a dozen eat, sleep, golf for you. Absolutely.
Love it. We'll do that. That's awesome. That's cool that you can customize. I'm glad that you said that because I was worried like, oh no, it's blue, green, or black. Like those are the only colors you get. So now, okay, John, Sarah, Amy, Katie, Jack. I mean, safe to say this is a family business?
That's my favorite part of this whole thing. Honestly, the fact that happened, and you can't believe it when you first start something, and they like it here. They want to be here. They love the business, and I'm hopeful that it'll endure for years and years as a family business. That's my hope. But yes, I employ everybody in my family. Absolutely.
That's cool. Now, tour players, like there's a bunch of them out there. Any of them LPGA, PGA, Champions Tour, any of them promoting and supporting BirdieBall, or have you worked with any tour players over the years?
Absolutely. One of the number one guys is Sean McKeel. And Sean has a Make-A-Wish charity, and we participate in that annually. He can't believe that, we aren't bigger than we are. He's like, I'm out here with my kids, strike pad, what's wrong with this equation? And, honestly, as much marketing as we've done, the marketing has really been online direct-to-consumer marketing. We think it's probably time to do some, and I'm going to say the word golf channel, some television of some sort to make, bring the awareness, where it should be. But over the years, this is Craig Stadler. He lives up here in Evergreen, and we do some charity work with him. Honestly, the Lake Nona and tell me the other one that play every year. One of them has a Golfzilla, and I don't remember which one, but they stop by the PGA Merchandise Show and tell me this pro, that pro, this pro. They can't believe it. We put Golfzilla up, and the kids. They push the kids away, and they're like, no, we're playing Golfzilla. So, excuse me, Birdie Rex. We're doing Birdie Rex.
I have to feel that happens a lot. So
yes, it happens.
I just hope they're not watching because I would hate for that. Now, the putting green behind you, what is that? You talked about the putting green being made in the U.S. Like, what is it? Okay,
so this has really morphed into the largest part of our business. We are actually we believe that we are the largest indoor putting green manufacturer in the United States. These are made of an aerated polymer foam material. So, when you step onto a putting green, you feel that kind of spongy feel. Well, a golf ball actually rolls on that spongy sub base, okay? And they'll mow them to, have a tour speed, a club speed, or public course. So basically, you mow them down to 1/8 of an inch, slightly under 1/8 of an inch, or slightly over 1/8 of an inch. And we do that very thing. So we draw the fiber out of an aerated polymer, create the height of the fiber, and then we angle that fiber so that it is both into the grain or down grain. And we make them 2, 3, 4 feet wide standard. We make them 8 feet wide, and then any length that you want. They roll up, and they're totally transportable, and they are dead accurate. So we have a lot of tour guys who use them as well.
That's really cool. Before I left the Troon corporate office, they were doing some construction to our corporate office, and they put like a legitimate, like what would be an office. Nah, we're gonna put down a putting green. So I missed it. I never got a putt on it because I left before it was finished. But very similar in that same, it was like to be a true green, even though it was artificial. So the product looks awesome, and I am shocked that somebody returned it. talk to the one person that returned it. And if you ever get any negative feedback, what is the negative feedback? I mean, it seems pretty straightforward.
We've never had any negative feedback. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it defies gravity. I mean, if you set it down on the ground and hand somebody a wedge and have them hit it, you just count to 2 and they turn around and say, wow. In fact, we all just mouth it as they're about ready to turn around and say, wow. That's what happens. It's a fundamental new discovery in the universe. As long as there's air and gravity, that says wow. And then the other thing, it actually speaks as it's flying. It has a very deep, robust jet engine noise when you hit it well. And you can it has a little different sound when you leak it. It has a little different sound when you draw it. And you'll actually won't ever even have to look up. You actually know what just happened.
That's really cool. Like, so I want to buy some. Where do I get them? Like online? Do I get them at the PGA store, Golf Galaxy? Like, where do I go?
Right. So we talked about the fact that, we don't do well at retail. We don't, because again, as well as we package it, you just can't get there. A napkin ring doesn't fly like a golf ball. We have videotape, at retailers where, the cashier just shakes her head like, I don't know. I have no idea. So we're a direct-to-consumer business, really exclusively online. We do sell through Amazon as well. I do have a treat for you guys. I'm doing a promotion, 20% off. With Eat, Sleep, and Golf, and that's 20% off, and a free dozen birdie balls. Okay, so the birdie balls are $25 a dozen, plus some shipping. We'll throw if you buy a dozen birdie balls, we'll send you another. If you buy a putting green, we'll send you a dozen birdie balls. You get 20% off. And you get some free balls. But we're direct to consumer. Everything ships out of Evergreen, Colorado.
That is really cool. Thank you for doing that. That's awesome. We'll make sure that gets posted anywhere and everywhere we can tomorrow when we share this link. Now, I didn't tell you before we went live, this was going to fly by. We're almost out of time, but I don't care because I've got a couple of more questions before we jump to the back nine. You're involved in a lot of events. I mean, Birdie Rex is all over the place. Like, what are some of the most important and most memorable events that you've been involved with over the years?
Yeah, so we love the BMW Charity Pro-Am. That's one that is particularly special to us. During the, I want to say 2013, I believe, U.S. Women's Open here at the Broadmoor, we partnered with the USGA, we partnered with the LPGA, we partnered with the PGA, and we ran about 40,000 kids through an introduction to golf driving range where we basically turned one of the, there are 3 nines at the Broadmoor. We turned hole number 1 sideways, and we were hitting sideways on hole number 1, and literally 60 hitting bays and 100 volunteers at a time. So that's those two kind of stand out.
That's really cool. It's cool that you're involved with such big brands that, on PGA and the LPGA and these organizations see the value in what you've created. I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm curious, real quick, before we get to my final question, any competitors? Like, has anybody tried to replicate it, or do you have a patent on this design?
Very robust patent, and honestly, that was the thing we took care of before we even brought it to market, because it is so easy to knock off. So an extremely robust patent. We've only had it challenged once, and that was in Italy. But we have European patents too, and so that's what protects us. And we sort of go through that logic. If we can patent it, we bring it to market.
So on your website, as soon as you land, you can sign up for your mailing list. And as a marketing guy that's trying to send emails to as many people as I can, as often as I can, how many people are in your database, and how often do you send emails to that database?
Right. So we have over 100,000 in our database. We try not to abuse the privilege. We'll do Father's Day. We'll do Christmas. I'm going to say probably 8 times a year. Our coaching, when we talk to marketing, experts, you need to touch your customers more often, and they won't mind. So, we're going to probably turn up the volume a little bit. We do have a lot of interesting blogs that we talk about. And, for example, Under Armour and Jordan Spieth did a photo shoot right after he won the AT&T Pebble Beach a Pro-Am. And, great picture of Jordan on a customized Under Armour putting green with the now SI swimsuit model. In fact, I've got a picture of him here over my left shoulder. But we try, when those kind of things happen, we try to blog that out. Rory McIlroy did a live interview at Dick's Sporting Goods headquarters, 2 BirdieBall putting greens, a Bose promotion. It's fun to blog that kind of stuff out. So if you're interested in how we're doing, or if we're getting touched by the celebrities, it's a good way to follow us.
Well, I'm not a celebrity, and past this show and the podcast that will be a part of Golf Radio Network after this on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and SoundCloud, I would love to have you do an interview in a print format for my blog versus the audio and video perspective, because I've written over 630 interviews on my personal blog. So if you're interested in that, to give you and BirdieBall more exposure, I would love to set that up, and it'd be similar but different questions, and I'd love to help.
Absolutely.
Speaking of blog.
You bet. And, maybe one of the things we can do next time is we've got a little birdie ball driving range outside, and we just turn the camera the other way and get some people hitting birdie balls, so you can kind of see that. And we'll put Birdie Rex up and have a big party.
That's awesome. As long as Birdie Rex is there. I'm not coming if Birdie Rex isn't there. Now, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. Like, literally, I feel like we just started, and we've already talked for over half an hour. But before I let you go, we have this segment called The Back Nine. It's just 9 fun, random golf questions. You ready for the back 9?
Oh, sure.
Do you watch golf on TV? And that's any golf, not just PGA, LPGA, Champions Tour. Do you watch golf on TV?
Yes, unfortunately, 24/7. It's, the TV's over here off, but it'll be on. I love it.
Have you ever had an ace?
Yes. This story you don't have time for, but it was a hole-in-one for $1 million. I didn't get paid, and it changed the entire industry. I bought a foursome, $20 each, and put it down and 4 other lawyers watched it happen who were on a tee box above us. But my ex-partner wasn't at the cart with us, drove up to the green, came back and said, "You want the good news or the bad news?" And I said, "There's no bad news." He said, "Yeah, you were this far behind the hole in the shadow of the flagstick." And I was
my God.
I had already asked if it was if it was insured, because it was for the March of Dimes. I was like, "Gosh, is this insured?" And but they didn't have anybody up there, and she had binoculars, and so from that day forward they changed. There had to be somebody at the green, but that was in like 2001 or something. But
wow.
But it was to qualify. So it was it was $1,000, but it qualified you for the $1 million shootout. But yes, I have made it, dang it, and no matter what he says, I made that shot.
Awesome. That's so funny. So what golf ball are you currently playing? Not the birdie ball, but when you play 18 holes, what ball are you playing?
Boy, a Bridgestone E6, and they don't even sponsor me.
They sponsor Tiger, so I mean, you're playing more golf than he is right now.
I play that ball. I've had a good relationship with those guys. They've helped us. They gave us some help early on by allowing us to sell the ball. So I've always gotten into Bridgestone.
What's your favorite golf course?
Oh my goodness, Baltusrol. I got to marshal there a week during the 2003 U.S. Open. Is it 2003? Gosh, time flies. No, gosh, I don't even know. It was maybe 19. I don't even know. 19s, 2000s, whatever. I sold the business and got a week. Marshaled at Baltusrol when Lee Jansen won.
That's really cool. Do you listen to music while you play golf?
Absolutely, yeah.
Good answer. What kind of music? That's not one of the questions, but now I'm curious.
The genre is 60s rock and roll. Beatles, Stones, and I got to put even Zeppelin in there. I know that's a little early for them, but they were breaking out.
Okay, so you'll listen to that on the front 9, and we'll listen to dance music on the back 9. Is that a fair trade?
I love, this is going to sound crazy. I love Celine Dion. It's like, I'll put her on. I know, isn't that crazy?
We're listening to Celine's greatest hits the entire round.
It's like, no, but she has a private golf instructor, in Toronto who bought a whole setup from us, our air targets and a complete set. And I see her every year at the PGA show. She says Celine still loves playing birdie ball in the backyard. So that may have something to do with it.
That's awesome. Now you're in Colorado. Huge, huge beer scene. What's your favorite local craft brewery? And you can only pick one.
Probably Breckenridge Brewery.
Oh, they're local? Jealous.
Yeah. Is it too big?
They're good. I like them a lot.
They're local.
That's awesome. What's your favorite PGA Tour major?
Gotta love the Masters. I got to go in 2015, and it's unbelievable. I have another invitation.
Okay, so Tiger, we haven't talked much about him. He's literally staring at me. He's there. He's there. He's there. He's there. He's all around me. Do you think he breaks Jack's record? Why or why not? And based on what's happened in the last 6 weeks, be careful how you answer this.
I think it'd be awfully difficult at this point to get that done. He's in his 40s now. Jack had the miracle win when he was 43. I'm praying for him, and he deserves to go out as a champion. So I'm crossing my fingers. Just hoping.
That's a good answer. So thank you for not just saying no. Next question. And your final question of your hashtag Wednesday match play. What's next? I mean, you've sold 7 million units and you're starting to get into some pretty big markets, but what's next for BirdieBall?
So next is the boutique, and I'm fill in the blank Top Golf. We're gonna build. We're gonna call them BirdieBall Place, and there'll be 6 to 10 bays. It'll be some fun concentric circle scoring. We don't need the RFI chip in the ball because line of sight is right there. You'll download the scoring on your app when you walk in, touch your phone to do scoring, and it'll be it'll be ambiance, great place to have a little food, hopefully some drink. We're going to do the very first one up here in Evergreen, but we are trying to partner with somebody in the food and beverage industry and fill in / whoever that might be to do it right, so that the food and beverage is done right. We don't know anything about food and beverage. We know about golf entertainment in a small space, and we can do it better than anybody. So golf entertainment, a small space, along with really, really amazing food and beverage and a nice ambiance. And we think that we can do that for a fraction of what it costs to get involved in a Top Golf facility. So something along those lines, and we're moving on that.
That is awesome. So keep me in the loop on what happens there. I'd love to share that story. I encourage you to get active in the Google Plus Golf community. Like I said before we went live, we'll hit 26,000 members this week. Excited to see the growth happen in there. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This is awesome. BirdieBall, you got a promo for Eat Sleep Golf going on right now. Save 20%. Excited to see where this product goes. I hope to be able to meet you maybe at the PGA show. And if I can't make it to the PGA show, maybe I can convince you to come down here to Naples and play some golf at Tiburon. We've got 236 holes, 2 golf courses of just awesome championship golf. And we host LPG and PGA Tour events. So anytime you want to come down to Naples, just let me know. And have a good evening. This episode is going to be on Facebook, on Twitter, on Stitcher, on SoundCloud, on Google Play. It's going to be all over the place. iTunes, you name it. As always, on the hashtag Wednesday Match Plays, you have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.